this video, I'm going to be talking about biofilms and the mechanisms of how they block macrophages from doing phagocytosis, which is the engulfing. So basically, the mechanism is that there is a receptor called the CR3 receptor. It's short for complement receptor 3, and it's normally or mostly found on neutrophils, macrophages, monocytes, dendritic cells, and NK cells. And the main function of CR3 is phagocytosis, and it recognizes IC3B, opsonized microbes and debris. So that shows that these cells are required to clean up debris, and if they don't, the debris could be causing inflammation and all sorts of other problems. Okay, this CR3 receptor, it even binds ICAM1, so helps neutrophils cross into tissues, and also modulates inside out and outside in signaling, which is something that tumors like to use. So possibly tumors could be exploiting this CR3 receptor. Now, biofilms, such as from Candida, Staphylococcus, and Pseudomonas, that they actually interfere with this CR3 receptor in several ways. So biofilm ECM contains polysaccharides and extracellular DNA, and these actually bind and prevent the C3b and IC3b deposition. As a result of this binding, the CR3 receptor on those immune cells cannot recognize and bind microbes efficiently because CR3 needs IC3b tagging. As a result of this, that phagocyte access is physically blocked, or in other words, phagocytosis can't occur. Biofilms, they also create a slippery surface that the CR3 receptor can't grip. Therefore, that means that the phagocytosis engulfing cannot really happen. And neutrophils attach but can't engulf. And then they become frustrated and they release extracellular reactive oxygen species, or ROS for short. So that means that biofilms, they create a more inflammation, or ROS, or at least they cause the neutrophils frustration of not being able to engulf to release reactive oxygen species. So that's why it's important to include antioxidants in the body to provide and reduce the ROS. Another downside here to the Staphylococcus is that the Staphylococcus bacteria strain or organism can actually trigger the CR3 receptor and then even change the macrophage towards an M2-like phenotype. So that actually supports tumors, or M2 phenotypes protect tumors. So that goes to show that biofilms are pro-cancer, or help drive cancer, or play a role in helping out cancer. Okay, so another thing that biofilms do is that they actually take advantage of the neutrophils' lack of ability to clear the biofilm, because when neutrophils try to engulf or phagocytose, or in other words, the engulfing uh, through CR3 receptor, they release these things called nets, NETs, and then the nets, they get trapped in biofilm matrix. And then the biofilms, they degrade the nets, and they even use the nets as a building material instead of being killed. Okay, this can be a real problem because of the biofilms, they actually end up persisting and growing, and because the neutrophil uh, releases a net that's actually short for neutrophil trap, and it actually Nets form sticky DNA fibers around the microbe, but of course, there's a biofilm. Bacteria and biofilms, they resist the net antimicrobial proteins. And this attempt by neutrophils is actually not good. They shouldn't even attempt to engulf a biofilm covered bacteria or pathogen, because it ends up creating a net reinforced biofilm metric or a matrix. And it's actually made of EPS, short for extracellular polymeric substances, and also host DNA and antimicrobial peptides and histones. So that that biofilm matrix is made of all these things that creates this structure, and it actually ends up strengthening and stabilizing the biofilm because of that added extracellular DNA by the neutrophil after the phagocytosis or engulfing attempt of the pathogen or cancer cell. And this actually promotes bacterial aggregation and can even make the biofilm harder for the immune system or antibiotics to penetrate. So the immune system, it ends up building and reinforcing the very thing that the immune system is trying to degrade or dissolve. This is why it's critical to eat foods that reduce biofilms, and there's many different types of foods to prevent the biofilms from forming in the first place. So this is observed in biofilms formed by Pseudomonas, a Staphylococcus, and Haemophilus influenzae. Okay, so the Pseudonoma is a gram-negative bacterium commonly found in moist environments. So the risk factors and causes are weak immune system, long hospital stays, burns or open wounds. Common sources are contaminated water, such as from sinks, pools, hot tubs, soil, and plants, poorly cleaned medical devices, even moist environments like humidifiers, and even from hospital equipment such as ventilators and catheters. Now, the causes and risk factors of Staphylococcus aureus, which could lead to biofilm formation, are cuts, wounds or skin damage, poor hygiene, close skin contact with infected persons, sharing personal items such as towels and razors, and even a weakened immune system. So it seems like the vitamin deficiency or even stress could cause this Staphylococcus to form in the first place, therefore further weakening the immune system even more, which is why the Staphylococcus was around in the first place. So it seems like a self-enforced feedback loop. And the third biofilm forming bacteria is Haemophilus influenzae, and the causes are close contact with infected individuals, weak immune system, so that's why it's important to take vitamins and minerals and reduce stress, lack of vaccination, and even young children or elderly people. So quick recap, biofilms, they protect cancer cells and pathogens. The CR3 receptor is disabled by biofilms. If neutrophils attempt to phagocytose a biofilm covered pathogen, it could actually make the biofilm even stronger because of the nets. The nets are released by neutrophils that attempt to phagocytose or engulf a biofilm covered pathogen or cancer cell, therefore adding more extracellular DNA to the biofilm, making the biofilm even stronger and more resistant against antibiotics and immune cell attack. So that's it for the video. If you want more future videos, then like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.